So in today's video, we're going to be covering how to checkmate with two bishops. In the other video, we looked at how you can checkmate with a bishop and a knight. And now I'll be covering how you can checkmate with two bishops. Two bishops are relatively easy as compared to a knight and a bishop. That is because two bishops cover so much more space, and it's much easier for you to restrict your opponent with just the bishops and for you to checkmate later quickly. So the steps are as follows. First step, you want to centralize your bishops. You want to bring these bishops in the center, exactly where they are here. They cover so much space and just restrict your opponent from ever coming outside. And that is why the bishops are relatively stronger than the knights are when it comes to even checkmating. Like two bishops can checkmate while two knights can't. So in this particular case, they just cover so much space. Your opponent is going to be forced to move away. And once that is done, you're going to now start bringing in your king to restrict your opponent towards the 8th rank or the 1st rank or the A file or the H file. And this is usually done in these two steps, which are relatively easy and easy to apply on the game. So when you reach a position like this one, now you're going to start the bicycle dance with the two bishops. So the bicycle dance, what I mean is I just bring the bishop up, bring it here, and then bring it back up. As the king gets closer, here you're going to restrict with the king, of course. And then later, you're going to checkmate with the two bishops. And here when it comes to checkmating, you just need to be a little bit more careful, because at times people can easily draw because they play a little bit quicker. You always have to learn how to delay or just waste a move so that your opponent can come to the right square. And then when they do, you're going to check with the bishop and then checkmate with the light square bishop. Or it can be vice versa if it was in the dark square corner. So this is always the pattern, and I'll show you in multiple ways how you can do this. It's relatively easy and nothing too complicated. I am quickly just going to show you how you can checkmate using the bishops in this position. It's relatively easy, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So the three steps that we talked about is first, you centralize your bishops, and then your king comes in closer to restrict your opponent's king, and then after that you do the bicycle dance, and then you checkmate. So easily, I'm just going to show you that. So in this case, we're going to bring our bishops in closer to restrict our opponent even a little bit more. And here you can notice at this point your opponent had two moves. Here they can come down or they can go there. I'll show you how you handle both cases nonetheless. So here they go there, you bring your bishop in, and now that you've centralized your bishops, the king comes in and tries to take up more space. And here you can see your opponent doesn't have anywhere to go because they cannot penetrate through. The bishop is restricting them. And here you continuously just now bring in the bishops to restrict your opponent even more. So here you bring this first because you don't want to bring your bishop there and then it is just away. So you first bring the bishop to cut out some space where your opponent can't come up. And then after that, the bishop comes in and covers. And now notice your opponent has only two squares that they can go to. The rest of this game, you can easily finish this game by just simply playing the king up. So you rotate your king all the way to here, and then you do the bicycle dance, or you can start the bicycle dance immediately. So here you see just bring your king all the way because your opponent can't do anything. And then after that, now you can start the bicycle dance. You take it down, you take it down, you take it up, and then you wait a little bit because you don't want to stalemate. Let me just quickly show you. Here you take it down, and then you take it down again. And then here, because you don't want to stalemate, if you come here immediately, you're going to stalemate. So you waste a move any of the bishops can do. So you can waste any of the bishop moves. And then after that, you're going to check with the light square bishop in this case. And then you finish with a checkmate. If we had gone for the other strategy, we would have first started with the bishop going to G7. And then here you see you've restricted your opponent from going to F8. And whenever they come this other side, at D8, your bishop goes to F7, restricting them from accessing E8. And then after that, they have to go to C8. And then when they do that, notice that here, if we just check them, they can escape. So you bring your king closer. The king coming close means that they only have two squares to go to. And that is exactly what you do in this particular position. So this is harder, and I wanted to learn this so that it doesn't matter if you have to take your king on the other side or you just have to checkmate in this manner. So once you learn both of these, it becomes relatively easier for you to checkmate whatever the position is going to be. So here notice they're coming this side so that they can escape at E7, and here you bring your bishop to F6 check, and after that your opponent has to run away, and then you continue with the bicycle. All right. So here, obviously, they're going to go to b8. And here, what we said is if they come on this other side, you just bring your king level-headed with the other king so that they don't escape. And that's exactly what you do in this position. And when they go in the corner, here, if you bring your bishop immediately, you're going to stalemate and draw. So you just waste a move. And then when they come there, you check and then checkmate. And it can be as easy as that. And at some point here, you notice that your opponent can come in closer. So instead of going this other side, what happens if your opponent comes down here? So it doesn't matter, you bring in your bishops here. So now you centralize your bishops, but you just are facing the king in this particular case. So what that does is when they go there, you bring your king down already. So that now that you've centralized your bishops, you bring in your king now to restrict your opponent. And here it can be as easy as that. So notice your opponent only has 2 squares to go to. And that's what restriction is about. Just restrict your opponent's moves. They don't have many squares to go to. And that is exactly what we're doing in this particular case. So they come there and you bring your king there. Notice they don't have any good moves. So again, they can go up here and then we're going to do something similar until they don't have any good moves. We're going to come here or there and then we restrict them in that manner. We're going to bring the 2 bishops exactly what we said we're going to bring them, restricting our opponent to only 2 squares. So like in this case, we just go up and then we're going to bring in our bishop. So notice here, your opponent can try to escape this other side, but it doesn't even matter. I'm going to bring in the bishop and the other bishop so I can restrict my opponent even further. So there, first of all, and now you bring your bishop down, you cover this square so that your opponent can't escape to any other square here. And then when they go there, you bring in the other bishop. Notice your opponent has only now 2 squares to go to. And when that is achieved, now you can either do the bicycle dance in that manner, or you can just run your king all the way to this square, and then you just checkmate using the bicycle dance. And after that, in this case, we're just going to go with the easier one of bringing the king there. And that once your king is established now here on f7, you're going to now start the bicycle dance with the 2 bishops. After they go in the corner, you bring your bishop on g5, and after that, so here we say that don't go immediately. Remember this one, because most people draw because of that. So you're going to waste a move, and after that, you're going to check with your bishop, and then checkmate comes. So it can be as easy as that, and I'll be putting a link in the description or at the end screen. You'll probably see a video of how to checkmate with the knight. So if you enjoyed this video, like, share, subscribe, do everything that is necessary, and I'll see you in the other video. Peace out.